Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today is a bit of a quick update really. As you can tell by the title, we've had a false alarm. I'm now 35 weeks and 2 days and I wasn't planning to do another video for you guys until 36 weeks. I have an appointment this Friday with my midwife at home for my home visit to go through my birth plan, and yeah, I was hoping to update you then again with more information and things, but because we've had a false alarm I thought I would film now and do another one, and then I'll just film another update for you as a separate video on Friday as well. But yeah, let's go straight into what happened. So over the weekend I had a nosebleed on Friday last week, which I have never ever had a nosebleed before, so but they can happen in pregnancy, they are common. I think the heat, because it's gone quite hot again here in the UK, I think that was just a bit too much for me. It was really stuffy in the evening of Thursday night. I couldn't really settle very well. Then when I woke up on Friday morning, I think I maybe got up a bit too quick and my nose just started to bleed. So that wasn't very pleasant. And then on the Sunday of that weekend, my hips and my lower back were giving me some really bad. So yeah, as I've mentioned previously in videos, I have to have physiotherapy for my back, and I'm going to see them next Thursday because it's been getting really bad and my hips are now playing up. But on Sunday evening my hips were really sore. They just felt like he was pushing on them, and it just felt like they were actually opening up and starting to widen, I suppose, for birth and things. And I didn't pay too much attention to it because I've been having a lot of lightning crotch. I've been getting pain on like my pubic bone. Everywhere down there has been pretty sore. So I just put it down to him engaging and dropping even lower. And then on the Sunday my mum and dad had even said that my belly looked like it had just like suddenly dropped. So Monday my back was still a bit bad and my hips, and I noticed some light spotting on my pants. So I kind of didn't panic too much because it was the smallest amount possible. But then when I went to the toilet again, not long, I think an hour or two afterwards, I noticed more. So I called my midwife, who suggested I go to the local bigger hospital because the hospital I go to is too small and there's no consultants. Because I'd also noticed on this Sunday and the Monday I'd been getting like a clear fluid on my pants as well. So I put on panty liners and I'd noticed it on there like a tablespoon amount maybe each time I was going. I knew it wasn't my bladder. I knew I was managing to hold myself because I go to the toilet pretty frequently anyway because he's on it. So I knew it wasn't like, uh-oh, he's pressed on my bladder and I haven't realised. It just felt like a trickling sensation, so they were a bit worried that my waters had gone or were starting to go. And the hospital I go to isn't big enough to deal with a premature labour or early labour. So I have to go to the bigger hospital, which is about an hour away, so they had to get me seen there because they had to do an... when I got to the hospital they had to give me a internal examination to check everything, and if they'd have done that for me at my local hospital and my waters had popped from them doing it, they wouldn't have been able to provide the care that me or baby needed. So they gave me an internal. They wanted to check that my mucus plug hadn't started to come away and my waters were definitely not going. My waters hadn't gone or weren't leaking anymore, so it's possible it was just clear fluid just coming away. She said if the baby had been putting his head down and pressing on my cervix, that could have caused some irritation. So that's what they think all that was. But I had to sit on a monitor for an hour because he was so wriggly. My backache, which has been horrendous, is because he's now back to back. Unfortunately it looks like he's turned around. I don't know if he's turned back around now, because while I was on the monitor he was really moving, he wasn't sitting still, my belly kept moving and turning and all sorts, so I'm not sure if he's flipped back around now. But I was a little bit disappointed to hear that he'd gone back to back because my back's been bad enough as it is. And then she was saying, has your back been worse recently? And I was like, Yep. So at least I know why, but I would really like him to turn before the labour because I just like everything to go as smoothly as possible. And I've heard that labour can be a bit more difficult and painful when the baby is back to back, and it can be a lot harder on your back during labour. So I really don't want anything to aggravate my back anymore because it's bad enough as it is. But we can only do as much as we can. I can't stop him from turning. I just have to hope that he'll go where I want him to go eventually. I do sleep on my left side like the midwife advises. We go for walks every single day. I've been bouncing on my birthing ball. So let's just hope all that helps. But yes, there was no labour. Although on the monitor when they checked, she asked me if I was noticing the tightenings I was getting, and I did say yes, I can. They are pretty intense Braxton Hicks, but then they're only lasting a couple of seconds, maybe a minute I think she said, so not even a minute. So she just said to watch those, and if they get painful to take some paracetamol, or to call them back to tell them that I'm starting to get pain with the Braxton Hicks, because that could mean they're turning into contractions, because she was pretty shocked at how regular they are. So I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on those. Tyler had pretty regular Braxton Hicks all the time, and then when I got my contractions, the midwives were pretty shocked at how regular and consistent they were, even from like 1 centimetre dilated. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Having a bit of back pain now. I've had a couple of Braxton Hicks this morning. I had one that gave me like a shooting pain in my spine and around my sides, but I'm not counting it as labour or contractions or anything. I think I'm just preparing. All I want him to do is wait till 37 weeks, and when we get there he can do what he likes. But that is my update. I'm going to go now. I just wanted to let you all know what happened and keep you all informed. But yes, I'm going to go, let you all to your day, and you'll see another update at 36 weeks when we have our appointment this Friday. So I'll let you know what the next midwife says and what her thoughts are, because we actually saw, funnily enough, when we came home, we had to stop off at our local Tesco. The midwife we have in this area, and she... That's how small the departments are. They actually called the hospital I was at, the bigger main hospital that they have to send women to. They called when I was there to check that everything was okay and that I wasn't in labour, because they were worried I was going into labour. And then when we got to our hometown, which is only half an hour away from our home, but it's in the same place as the smaller cottage hospital where we will have the baby hopefully, fingers crossed everything goes smoothly now. My midwife was there, Rose, and we walked in and she was just like, I've heard all about you, you're being naughty. And I was like, I know, I'm sorry. Because I'm sure when we were pregnant with Tyler, I also called her, and I think it was around this point where we had a bit of false labour. Again, I was getting Braxton Hicks, but they were actually getting pretty intense Braxton Hicks. And starting to be a bit painful, so then it was in the evening, so she told me to go to bed, and then she called me at like 5 o'clock the next morning to check everything had calmed down, and I told her that I'd managed to go to sleep and they seemed to have stopped. So again, Tyler did exactly the same. Now this little boy has done exactly the same, so let's hope he just behaves from now for another week and a half. A week and a half, and then he is free to do as he pleases. So yes. That is my update. I will see you all again in another video this week very soon. I'm going to film a few more videos today, so I may be looking the same, but I've got to film when I can, and today I want to get lots done, because the last thing I want is not to be able to film my hospital bag video or my baby's hospital bag, what's in my nappy bag for the hospital, and my little baby haul, because he comes early. So yes, I will see you all again very soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you've had any false alarms or anything, or let me know anything that's recently happened to you in your pregnancy. And I'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.